ABC Listen. Podcasts, radio, news, music and more.
Last Friday in Crans-Montana, in the last World Cup, I completely ruptured my ACL. Considering how my knee feels, it feels stable, I feel strong. I am confident that I can compete on Sunday. I know what my chances were before the crash, and I know my chances aren't the same as it stands today, but I know there's still a chance. And as long as there's a chance, I will try.
That's 41-year-old Lindsey Vonn gearing up for her fifth and final Winter Olympic appearance, days after rupturing her ACL in a competition. Determination and full tilt have defined Vonn's career, but they may have also ended it after a crash that saw her helicoptered off the mountain. From an Australian side of things, more medal chances in the snowboard big air, this time in the women's draw, and what did Townsville and the luge in Cortina have in common? I'm Poppy Penny and this is ABC Sport Daily. Matt Futterman is a senior sports writer with The Athletic, and Matt, 41-year-old Lindsey Vonn is considered one of the greatest downhill skiers of all time. 3 Olympic medals from 4 games, and this, her 5th Olympics, was to be her swan song. For people who maybe haven't heard the story, why was it so remarkable that Vonn was even at the start line of the women's downhill course?
It was remarkable because last week in one of her last races before the Olympics, she crashed in Crans-Montana, Switzerland, tore her anterior cruciate ligament, her ACL.
Here's Lindsey Vonn, a 2-time winner here in Crans-Montana. Where is Vonn? Where is Vonn? Oh, Vonn is in the netting! Oh, my goodness me! Another nightmare in Crans-Montana. Oh, no. Vonn can't move.
That's an injury that usually puts people out, and she went for it. She decided that she could ski, that she didn't have swelling in her knee, and she was going to be able to compete 9 days after rupturing her ACL.
So then what happened to the 5-time Olympian when she made that run?
So she was in the starting hut. She saw that her teammate, Breezy Johnson, had put down a lightning fast run and got down the hill in minute 36 seconds and 10/100ths. And, that it was going to take someone skiing on the limit to beat her. And that's what Lindsey Vonn has always been about, skiing on the limit and going for it. She wasn't going to play it safe. She wasn't just going to try and get in contention. She was, going to give this course all she got. She's won there 12 times before. And she went after it and went out hard on the top of the mountain. About 12 seconds in, she went over a jump. She went over it slightly awkwardly. There's a lot of what's called micro-terrain on the Olympia della Tofana course, and something threw her off balance. She clipped a gate while she was in the air. That threw her really off balance. She landed awkwardly. She never really landed. She couldn't recover, and then she just went tumbling down the mountain, and it was pretty clear that something pretty bad had happened to her at that point.
Her teammate and gold medal winning Bree Johnson spoke about the accident after the event.
The work that we put in, the careers, I think obviously, my heart aches for her, and it's a tough road and it's a tough sport. I think that's the beauty and the madness of it, that it can hurt you so badly, but you keep coming back for more.
You were on the mountain at the time. What was the mood like?
Yeah, Lindsey is like a worldwide hero. She's beloved in this part of Europe, in the Alps. She speaks German. She's just spent so much time here. So when she was at the top in the starting hut, and then when she pushed out of the gate, the roars for her were as loud as they were for any of the Italians that had skied before her. And so she sort of burst out of there. And then the contrast of what happened 13 seconds later when she crashed, and all of a sudden, there were thousands of people at the bottom of the mountain, just went completely silent. And it was sort of funereal for the next several minutes. And then you heard that terrible sound of the helicopter. And then it came into view, and you knew where it was going, and you knew she was going on another helicopter ride to be airlifted to a medical facility.
It's been confirmed that Vonn has had surgery on a fractured leg, so we won't see her at the start line of the Super G. So with that being the case, how will her career be remembered?
It's got to be remembered as sheer fearlessness. what was so fascinating about Lindsey Vonn, or what is so fascinating about Lindsey Vonn, is that her superpower is also her kryptonite. What made her so great is that she was just always full gas, completely aggressive. If she was in the starting gate, she was going to go for it, and she always did. That gave her 84 World Cup victories. And that was just her attitude. Now, that was also the thing that brought her down because she had so many crashes and so many injuries. But it was just her. It was the only way she knew how to race. It's the only way she sort of knows how to live. It's just one of those qualities in athletes that, particularly her, that is just incredibly admirable.
An incredible career, Matt Futterman. Thanks so much for talking to us about it, and we wish her all the best in recovery.
Thanks so much for having me.
Erin Marsicovetere is with the ABC over in Milano-Cortina and is going to get us caught up on all the Australian action from the game so far. Erin, I want to start with snowboarding, and we saw Tess Coady and Mila Stalker qualify for the women's snowboard big air final. Could either of them challenge for Australia's first medal at these games when they compete tomorrow morning Australian time?
Well, I certainly hope so, Poppy. And in this event, it seems like just about anything can happen. We saw Tess Coady, who is, of course, a bronze medalist from 4 years ago in the slope style. She does do the big air as well, and she has just scraped into this final. She put down her third run, and she had this really nervous wait because there were a number of athletes still to go after her who potentially could have bumped her out of that top 12. But I think the nerves got to a few of them because there were a lot of bums hitting snow in that last run, not putting up scores that would have bumped them into the top 12. So Tess Coady is in, as is Mila Stalker. She's into her first Olympic final, so a really exciting night for her here in Livigno.
An exciting night a couple of nights ago and yesterday morning, Val Guseli made the men's final of that same event after being an alternate and getting the call up for the heats super late. No medal for Val, but how proud can he be of that performance given his injury history and the sort of comeback he's made?
Yeah, that's right. So he suffered an ACL tear last season, and it's a long way back from an injury like that for most athletes. And he finished 10th in this final, a final that he wasn't expecting to be in. He didn't even get a practice run on the jump because it was a couple of hours before the qualifying that he got a call saying there was a place and did he want it. And of course he took it. He described it to me when I had a chat to him straight after competition. He still had his snowboard in his hand and his helmet on.
I had a lot of personal wins. I did the first backside 1800 on snow since I did my ACL on that same trick a year and a half ago in China. So that's a massive personal win, and owning that trick again instead of having it own me. Got to try my first back 19 that I've ever tried, and there was a chance that it could have worked out. Unfortunately, the chance wasn't big enough, but yeah, still happy with today and just being there, just riding. You know, I had a lot of fun riding.
Ahead of the half pipe, which is in around 4 days' time, this is a great confidence boost for him. He's dusted off the nerves of the Olympics. There is a buzz around, and you know it's easy to get pretty overwhelmed. He's a pretty relaxed guy, but good to get this bonus event out of the way, I think, and he's got a feel for things now. So looking forward to the half pipe in a few days.
Erin, perhaps an unlikely combination is growing up in Townsville and ending up at the Winter Olympics. How did Alex Velazzo end up in the luge and how did he go?
Yeah, what a crazy sport, right? 120 kilometres an hour down this icy track, and feet first, head back. The further you put your head back, the faster you go, but then you can't really see where you're going. It's just wild to watch. And this is Alex Velazzo's fourth Olympic Games, so pretty incredible. He's our most successful luger. And yeah, coming from Townsville, there's no luge track anywhere nearby. We don't have one anywhere in Australia. In fact, I think the closest is somewhere in China. So he, spent a lot of time practicing on a sled with wheels, like a modified type of skateboard, if you can picture that, and has made it all the way to the top of his sport, really. He finished 18th, so top 18 in the world, competing against these guys who, this track in Italy, it's new, but the Italians obviously have got a lot of practice on it as well. And, the technology and the funding for all the other countries is just a bit more advanced. And so it's a really great effort from Alex. He told me that he's taking a year off after this Olympics.
I was always going to have a year off next year, so that's the plan for now, and then we'll see where we're at. I might come around again, might not. We'll see where life takes me.
He's got a gap year ahead of him, so he's looking forward to that.
Probably a well-deserved year off too. And Erin, you're probably deserving of some time off, but not for another couple of weeks. We appreciate your time this morning to chat to us.
Thanks so much.
Headlines. The USA have won the figure skating teams event with an incredible skate from Ilya Malinin to seal the deal. The world number one landed a backflip on one leg in his free skate, putting an exclamation point on what was an incredibly technical routine. Japan took out the silver and the home nation of Italy won bronze. In the cross-country men's skiing 10km and 10km skiathlon, Australians Hugo Hinkfus and Sevi De Campo finished 56th and 57th respectively. Away from the Winter Olympics, and Gout has withdrawn from the Commonwealth Games later this year in order to focus on the World Under-20 Championships. He hopes to emulate superstar sprinter Usain Bolt, who won the 200 metres gold at that event in 2002. I'm Poppy Penny. This is ABC Sport Daily, produced by Ed Gooden. Thanks to US Ski and Snowboarding for the extra audio used in this episode.
Discover more great ABC podcasts, live radio and exclusives on the ABC Listen app.